Hello everyone, welcome to our Wednesday Q&A. I'm Eric Griffin, president of ITM Trading. With me I have Lynette Zang, our chief market analyst. For those of you who don't know or are tuning in for the first time, we take your questions that you submit to us via email to questions@itmtrading.com. We put them up on the screen here in front of us. We ask them live so you get a real, true, organic, spontaneous response.
Yes, indeed.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, Jackie D asks, how do you figure the true value of gold if the true amount of debt is unknown? For example, the foreign exchange derivatives, unknown or estimated total.
Right, exactly. You know, you really can't know the exact fundamental value. We just use the data that we do have to make a guesstimate of how much that is.
Right, so you use the global debt clock, right?
Yes,
to do your calculations?
I have gone in and pulled everything, piecemeal. It takes an awful lot of time, and quite honestly, I don't think that it's that critically important that we know that exact number. So yes, I use just the global debt clock just to make my life easy and to do a quick calculation. And then additionally, you want to know how much gold there is in the world. So you can do it either what's been already mined, since it's all recoverable, 98% of it's recoverable, or the Department of the Interior does an annual global survey of how much gold is in ground yet. They anticipate.
The number that you use, though, is from the World Gold Council, I think. Is that right?
On the amount
the total
of
amount of
total
like 205,000 tons of gold, or 30. I forget how many ounces that works out to be.
It could be. When I was doing that on a regular basis, I actually would pull the data from the Department of Interior, because I felt like they talked more about the in-ground gold as well. Mm-hmm. So what is likely to come out of the ground, even when they talk about like fines, like there was a recent fine in, I can't remember where, but it was a substantial amount, but the Department of the Interior had likely already anticipated that amount in the fine. So you get it a little bit more accurate, and that's easy, and it's easy data to pull. If it was super complicated data to pull, then frankly at this juncture, I'm going to the easiest way at the moment.
Right.
But, right.
And regardless, the way that you do it, it shows that gold is true fundamental value right now. It is probably underestimated, right?
Oh, 100%.
And I think it's somewhere around $13,000 an ounce. So it shows you the real big difference between what the spot price is now, around $1,800, and the fundamental value of gold conservatively being around $13,000.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
And likely more. I think that's definitely an underestimation if they were to do that reset.
Yeah, and almost answering Jackie D's question, right, that even though we don't know what foreign exchange derivatives and the true amount of debt, so the number that we use is even smaller than what.
Right. And, you're talking about the foreign exchange derivatives because I just did that piece from the biz, right? But the reality is that everybody admits when you go to derivatives that nobody knows the true value at risk, because they have made them so incredibly complex with all of these formulas that even the guys that manage this stuff, even above that, the biz, the IMF, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, the World Bank, every single agency admits that they have no idea of the true value at risk. So, yeah.
All right, so Memo K asks, with the possibility of a gold confiscation by the government, do you believe the pre-1933 gold could be changed to a later cutoff year for consideration to not be confiscated, i.e. pre-1980? Can I answer this one?
Please.
So it's not about the date range that we look at when we say, okay, what do we consider to be protected or possibly safe from a confiscation? We look at what was the language in the last executive order, which was rare or unusual with special value to collectors. So it's not the pre-1933 gold per se is non-confiscatable. We look at the language. So it could be that there are coins that are modern minted, that are super rare, that maybe would be are special value to collectors, that maybe would not
Fit into that category.
Yeah, that would fit into that category. But pre-1933 U.S. gold, we do know not all of it is rare or unusual with special value to collectors. There's plenty of raw or jewelry grade, $20 gold coins that aren't necessarily rare or unusual. And that's primarily why I think both of us have stuff that is, rarer, graded,
100%.
types of gold.
However, let me just say that there is anything pre-33, there's a finite amount of it.
Correct.
Right? And so, you cannot, what I look at, honestly, is can I hold it inside of an IRA? And if I cannot hold it inside of an IRA, so even those pre-33 raws, you can't hold them inside of an IRA. Why not? The gold content is all standardized, is the same today as it was back then. So there is a reason why they give it that classification. So for me, that's what I look at. What can I hold in my IRA? If I can hold it in my IRA, then that's not the kind of gold I want, because I want that classification that I cannot hold it in an IRA.
And I think this is important because, Lynette and I have two different viewpoints on this. So
Yeah,
it shows
which is
that
fine.
Nobody knows for sure. I mean,
Right.
we are experts. We've been in this industry for years and years and years. 2
Yeah.
decades, right? Of 2
Yeah.
decades of experience. And
actually
16
more.
years 16 years for me and 20 years for you just in gold.
Well, more than that. That's here at ITM.
Right, that's at ITM.
But remember back in 1964 with my uncle.
Yes.
And none of his coins were slabbed. And yet they were all legal for him to hold and own and critically use in the normal marketplace.
Right. So speculative, right? Nobody knows for sure. Lynette goes by, what can she hold inside of an IRA? I don't want that. For me,
Right.
I look at it from the perspective of what was the language in the last confiscation. That was rare and unusual special value to collectors. So I generally use that as a guiding principle for, okay, what type of gold do I want to own that I think will be most likely safe if there is to ever be another gold confiscation.
Right.
So,
It's
so
what if I'm right, what if I'm wrong? If you can do something, it doesn't matter. Pay the
Right.
little bit of premium and go in that. That's the direction I go in.
So hopefully that answers your question. There could be stuff that's, that's newer than pre-1933 that could be considered rare or unusual.
Right.
And also not kept in an IRA.
Right.
But I would urge you to be careful when looking at that stuff to make sure that it is actually rare and unusual, because there's a lot of companies that will promote stuff as commemorative or
Right.
special value, but it's just bullion that's been minted for that particular company, and it's
And then
not really
slabbed.
rare and unusual, and it's nothing special about it. It's
Right.
just a bullion coin.
Right. And then slab, there are some companies that will grade that
Right.
and give it a special designation, but that doesn't make it so.
Right.
Right? So you do have to be careful.
Okay, so Gary K asks, if the end of hyperinflation results in a dollar with zero value, how will physical assets, stocks, real estate, and precious metals be valued?
Well, they're going to be valued in terms of the local currency or perhaps the global currency. So let's just stay local for a minute. Until we reset into a new currency, they're going to be valued in terms of dollars. The problem is if you can only convert that asset into dollars and the dollars have zero value, what do you really have? You have that nominal confusion. So the difference between, say, stocks Real estate is a little bit different because it kind of straddles both ends, except in terms of real estate that has been turned into a financial product, you can only convert that into the currencies. Whereas, physical metals, so silver, gold, is used in every single area of the global economy. So no matter where you are, it's going to be valued in terms of local. So I wouldn't put it into the local currency to capture nominal gains on it, but I would put it into the local currency in order to pay off a mortgage or pay off something.
Or buy something.
Or buy something. Correct. That I can't do direct. But that's really the difference. Physical assets, stocks are not really a physical asset, even though their perception is that it represents something, but you can't go to that company and pull a brick. Oh, that's my brick, or that's my piece of equipment. You can't. You can only convert that into dollars. Real estate straddles both because you got to have a place to live. But if it has been turned into a financial product, and that's what's going to be burned off right now. So, yeah.
I think the important thing, Gary, is to understand that hyperinflation results in a dollar with zero value. Well, it has value. It's just it constantly is getting eroded, and it takes more and more dollars to buy that. So anything is still going to be valued in whatever those dollars are. It's just going to take a lot more of those dollars to buy it. And gold and silver hold up and hold their value through that hyperinflation, and you can convert that gold and silver into more and more dollars as that trend continues, which then you use to go buy other assets like stocks and bonds, because people will still be taking those dollars even though the value keeps being eroded.
Yeah, they'll be forced because that's legal tender laws, right? So they have to continue to take the dollars, and we've seen it, but they prefer to take gold and silver and
right.
not dollars.
All right, so Karen W. asks, you always say gold has the broadest base of buyer. In fact, you alluded to that in the last answer there. You always say gold has the broadest base of buyer. Would collectible gold reduce the base of buyer since not everyone is a collector?
No, it actually doesn't, and there are a couple pieces to that. First of all, when you're buying something like a slabbed coin, it depends, because there's certainly 1 ounce coins that go for many millions of dollars. But generally speaking, this is general because I will get a more rare coin for a legacy coin, but I typically try and stay under the current fundamental value when I'm making my choices, because gold and silver in any form, whether it's this form or any form, is monetary at its base. So if I needed to use it, and that kind of speaks to the different quality levels, the more rare versus the base, kind of your basic higher population, higher blemish levels, that I could, if I needed to, convert them into anything, right? Sell the gold, sell it just for the physical gold, right? As long as I'm staying below fundamental value, I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, and it's important when we're talking about your individual goals and objectives, this is why we have a strategy, right? Because every single type of gold and level of rarity, quality has a different function and a different job, and so you want to make sure you're acquiring the stuff that's right for your goals and objectives. So just keep that in mind when you're buying. Okay, so
I want to say something else about it too, though.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain level of person. Wealthier people are always going to want that quality and rarity that only they can afford to buy. And so what happens with the collectibles, it is kind of like an auction, right? I walk in, there are 10 people at this auction. So wherever that auction opens up, that's what everybody's going to pay. They're going to walk away with that one piece that they all wanted at whatever that price level is. But if you have something that's more rare and you have 10 people that start to compete for that, that's what then pushes that premium and that price that you're going to have to pay to get it. So on the one hand, basic gold does have the broadest base of buyer because it's used across every single sector of the global economy. But let's also keep in mind at these certain levels that you do end up like we saw in 89 with, what was it, the mint state 65, even common date, was it a saint or what have you, that was selling at a huge premium because of its quality and rarity.
Demand, right,
and the
and
demand.
demand.
Yes, so keep that in mind too.
All right, so Aggie M asks, you said not to keep cash in the bank. Where do you put it?
Well, I put it in my safe deposit
No,
box.
don't lie. You put it in the money gun and shoot it around in the office.
That's true. I love my money gun, but it's not. Well, look, even the fiat money that I'm holding outside of the bank is not real money. You want real money? You have this and you have this. This is real money. Everything else is just a derivative or fake money designed to mimic real
Right.
money. Okay?
So where do you
But
put your cash?
I seriously put it in the safe deposit box. Not a bank safe deposit box, but in a private safe deposit box.
Right.
Because that's where I hold my gold and silver as well, since I can't, unfortunately, hold it at my house. I'm too visible, so I'm
Right.
not going to do that.
Exactly. All right. Well, that answers that. We are not alive today because the internet problems that we're having, which we will resolve next week. But so we can't take any live questions. But make sure you watch Gerald Salente interview. Lynette did. We went out live yesterday. Everyone's been loving that interview, by the way. I've been reading the comments, and they're saying it's one of the best ones, and they want you to have him back, and they love him.
Me too.
So that's
I
good.
love Gerald.
What do you got going on for tomorrow?
Well, stay tuned because, I said at the beginning of this year that 2022 was a pivotal year, and it has proven to be so. So you're going to see a number of key things that happened during this year. And keep in mind, we're now about to go into 2023. So if 22 was a pivotal year, 23 could very well be a crisis year. Sorry. I really don't like saying that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So if you like this, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, you really should consider and hit that subscribe button because there's so many things that are happening. We want you to stay right on top of it and make sure that you share, and definitely be safe out there. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.